before we hop into this episode with my guest, Rachel, I do want to give a trigger warning because we did go over some serious topics that could be sensitive. We discussed very detailed stories about drug abuse, suicide, loss, eating disorders, and death. I just want to give a huge thank you to Rachel for opening up about all these things that she went through in her journey in this lifetime. And, you know, if you or someone you know may be struggling, I hope that this can really just spread awareness on some of those hardships that some of us may be facing that we don't necessarily talk about or share with anyone. We will be going over some heavy things today, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Do I need lip gloss on?
Do you want lip gloss on?
Do you have lip gloss on?
I do. Okay, you can put lip gloss on.
Do I need lip gloss?
I don't think you do, but
Okay.
why not?
Okay.
Why not? What brand is that?
This is lip injection.
Oh, Too Faced?
Too Faced.
I knew it. Once you said lip injection, I was like, oh yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Styles After Dark. Here today, we have Rachel, and then, don't kill me, Cliadakis?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did great.
I suck at last names. Every time, my pronunciation with like words is just crazy. Me and Rachel work together. She is the mom that everyone needs in their life, and she is a second mom to me and so many others because she's just a big mentor and someone that everyone looks up to. She's very independent. She's a warrior. She is so loving, and honestly, she's just built a beautiful life, and she's just one of the most amazing people and most heartwarming people I know.
Thank you for all those beautiful words.
Of course, yes. So I just want to tell you guys how I got Rachel on the show. I think I just mentioned it already, but I'll say it again. Me and Rachel worked together at my hair salon, Mosaic Salon and Boutique. She has such a story to tell, and she's been through so much, and I feel like she's so inspiring. So I really wanted her to come on and talk about her journey in life and her experiences and how those things that she has experienced have brought her to where she is now, because she's just incredible. And I feel like we can all really be touched by what she has to bring to the table today. I just want to tell them, a little bit about you. So where are you from?
I was born in Chicago.
Okay. I didn't know that.
But I moved to Vegas very young. I think I was like in the third grade.
Yeah.
So second or third grade. So I've been here for a long time. So I feel like I'm a native, but I still have a family in Chicago.
Okay.
And I feel like my Midwestern roots I still have. I kind of move a little slower.
Because Vegas is so high.
It's really fast.
Okay.
But I think by nature, Midwestern people, we move a little slower.
Yeah.
We kind of talk a little slower, I feel like.
That's actually so true. Okay, so you're from Chicago.
Yes.
And you got here third grade. Did you come with both parents or just one?
We actually came here for a vacation.
Okay.
And never went back.
How do you do that?
Yeah. I was a little traumatized because, when we came here, I was like, it was like a ghost town, I felt like.
Which Chicago? Did you live in the city or did you live in the suburbs?
Right at the outskirts.
Okay.
We were still pretty close to the city. You know what? I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember them saying, oh, we bought a house. We're not going back. And
it happened that way.
Fast. I think my parents didn't want to raise us in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was the south side of Chicago. Maybe my parents were like, this might be a better place to raise kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are like, you moved to Vegas to raise your kids in a better place. But in the 70s, like, it was better.
It was. It didn't
this
have
was
all
a great
this.
place to grow up.
Yeah. Did you have siblings?
I did.
You do?
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters, how many?
I have 2 sisters and one has passed away. So yes, we all 3 moved out here with my family.
Are you guys close in age?
My sisters were 4 and 6 years older than me, so I bugged the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted nothing to do with me.
You're like, no.
Like, they were awful. Looking back now, I see my sisters just trying to find who they are.
Yeah.
And then now they got to babysit, like, some annoying little kid. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was tough.
Were they babysitting you? Like,
A
were your
lot.
parents working?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they both worked.
Yes.
And then you were kind of left under their supervision.
Yes.
Wow.
Not fun.
No.
Okay. I got my ass beat a lot.
And then you fell on. That's so sad. That was literally.
It is sad.
I
Like,
know.
Sometimes
Oh my gosh.
if I even say, like, my sister will come over and I'll be like, remember, like, when you stuck dog shit in my beanbag and, like, invited me to come and watch a movie? And
Yeah.
she gets so upset because I think she just doesn't remember any of that stuff. But yeah, they were awful.
Yeah. And they probably didn't realize it. Cause
Right.
They probably blocked it out or something.
Yeah,
or,
they
like,
probably
naturally.
did. And, you know, they were just kids to themselves that were, you know, maybe thought it was funny or I don't know. But I was the brunt of, like, many jokes growing up. So
And you're the youngest.
I don't take no fucking shit today.
Oh, she,
Like,
yes,
seriously.
that's one thing about Rachel is Rachel does not take anyone's shit. She has all these boundaries, and we were just talking about how now that she's coming on the podcast, like everyone's so excited at the salon. They're like, we can't wait for Rachel's episode, and it's because she comes off like the woman at work that you don't want to like approach. Like she's intimidating, but she's actually you're a soft heart.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
Yeah.
You have to know me to understand me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't judge a book
Yes.
by its cover or, you know, say anything about anyone until you really sit down and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least give them a second to get to know you, you know,
Yeah.
like we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm a hard nut to crack, girl.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel like I'll be out with my husband and we'll be having a conversation with somebody that knew me way back when.
Yeah.
That he happens to be friends with now. And they'll be like, oh, Rachel, remember when we did this and this and this at your house? And
Yeah.
we'll leave and my husband will be like, how come I never knew that about you?
Ah.
So,
okay.
you know, I feel like unless you ask me
Yeah.
and want to get to know me, I won't. I'm not
up like that.
forthcoming. I don't need to talk about myself all the time. And
Yeah. Or like overshare unless.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason for that? Like from your childhood?
Oh,
maybe?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. People like to talk.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I don't care if they talk.
Yeah.
But I think like when you grow up, you know, I was into punk rock. I was wearing a mohawk.
No, you weren't.
Yes.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I did.
I know you do not have red hair and a beautiful set of hair right now, and it's curly, and then you just had a mohawk. Were you punky?
I was not. I
Punky.
was punk. I was not punky.
You're like, Sophie, it's called punk?
No,
Not punky.
I mean, really. So,
Yeah.
you know, people sat in judgment a lot. Mm-hmm. You know?
So, okay. Would you say you had... Wow, okay. So you weren't like girly girl? Were you girly girl like me? Like my age right now?
I feel like I was when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I was so sensitive.
Yeah.
As a little kid. And I think that as time went on, I feel like the world kind of got in and I put that little girl to rest. That sweet girly girl, and came out as a punk rocker and, you know, put on, that was kind of like my armor.
Your shield.
Yeah.
What age was that and how long?
Gosh, I'm going to say around 15, 14.
Okay.
Like I was in the 9th grade and I shaved my head. Like I was like,
that's Okay,
Yeah,
I
had
don't
a
know
flat
why
top.
I think that's awesome, but
Yeah, I mean, I was like, my dad was like, "You're not cutting your hair."
Yeah.
And we all had hair like down to our waist, and I went to this cheap place. It was like called Great Expectations. I'll never forget it. It was
Great
Yes, it was in the
Expectations.
Meadows Mall. You probably don't even remember the Meadows Mall, do you?
Okay. Yeah, it's all the
kinda
way over there.
scary right
Oh
now.
no, it's kind of
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah,
Why?
it's kind of scary over there now. I
Oh,
don't know.
I don't know. It just is. It's. You're like,
I mean,
honey,
I don't
Henderson.
know. I don't know if I would shop
You're like,
there
I
right
don't
now.
even go over there anymore. Like that's no, I don't go past Sahara.
Right?
So, who you are today? What would you describe yourself? Because obviously, you've had so many versions and things you've gone through.
Yeah.
So you've been who you are now. I kind of want to share with the listeners
Okay.
what you would say who you are as a person, because obviously everything has shaped you to that now. I think I know who I am, but I'm still 23. So I
Yeah.
feel like I'm still figuring it out
Yes.
in a way. Even if I do think I know it, I probably don't just yet. But you have gone through much more life. So like, I think you probably have a staple or of who you are, right? Or no, not necessarily.
Well, I feel like no matter what age you are, I feel like hopefully we're all still learning to
Yeah.
do better and be better.
Definitely.
So I think that's more what I strive for,
Okay.
more than like, I mean, listen, on a regular, I have to check in with myself and say, okay, like, what kind of person do I want to be?
Yeah.
And be that person. I could sit here and say, "Oh, I'm this kind, loving, hardworking person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so easygoing," and my daughter would beg to differ. My husband would beg to differ.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so there are things that I strive to be on a daily, and hopefully, you know, I just do my best to be that person.
Yeah.
And I fall short a lot.
I
But
love
yeah.
that, Rachel. You have no idea. Like, I love that response. I feel like I see myself, or how does it go? Because the way I say it is going to determine. I see myself in you.
Yes.
Or like,
Yes.
right? But I don't want it to be like, oh, like you're me. Like
No.
because I feel like
No, and you're not taking. Yeah, no
Yeah.
one's taking it. I'm not taking it that way.
Okay, so I
You're
feel
striving
like
to be better.
yes, I feel like I can really, because I'm hard on myself, and I feel
Yes.
like no matter where I'm at in life, I can't. I mean, I guess the goal is to feel so confident in yourself that you know who you are and whatever. And I'm sure to an extent it's going to be that way, but like, I feel like we're human and we make mistakes, and we're a different person in everyone's life. Like you said, your daughter
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
you're just trying to be the best you can be
Yes.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that is so humbling. I feel, I feel like a lot of people don't have that mentality, which is okay. But like,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people say things just because they want to say things, and
Yeah.
I've been there. So when I see people say inappropriate things or be passive aggressive, and it can get under my skin a little bit, but only
Yeah.
because I've been there.
Yeah. Like I think it can affect you because something can always affect you, but I think
Yeah.
also you also have empathy, right?
Yeah, I think
In a
we
way.
have to have empathy for people because we don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
Just like people didn't know where I came from or where you came from.
Yeah. Also, I saw this quote one day, or like a little Instagram post, or maybe it was a TikTok. No, oh my gosh, it was my last guest. She said it, and that was like mind blowing. I was like, psh. She was like, we have to give people grace, even if we don't like someone, even if we had a bad experience with someone or someone treated us not well. Everyone in this life has only lived it once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when she said that, I was like, that's so true, because everyone has only lived it once. Everyone's learning it every day, and like everyone's doing something new every single day. So I don't know. To me, it just was crazy. It was like, yeah, you're right. Like, no one has repeated this life. So like, they don't know better. And I know we expect people to know better sometimes. Anyways, I'm getting off topic because I'm
No, I
passionate
love
about
it.
this.
No, it's the truth, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
but-
we're all just trying to do better and be better.
Yes. So we talked a little bit about where you're from, how you got to Vegas. And then I don't think I asked you, were you close with your parents and how was your childhood?
Well, I'll just start at the beginning from
Yeah.
like when I can remember.
Yeah.
So I did not talk much growing up. Like
Okay.
I was a very quiet child. Fast forward a couple years, come to find out I was deaf in one ear. So
Are you still?
no.
Okay.
No, they
superpower.
fixed it, and
Okay.
you know, I had like scar tissue buildup or something, and you know, they fixed it.
Okay.
But honestly, I remember coming out of the hospital and thinking, like, I don't like this.
Okay.
Like things were like very loud and intense,
Mhm.
and you know, when you can only hear out of one ear, I mean, think about that. Everything that was over here
Yeah.
was so quiet,
Yeah.
right? And then everything was so loud and it was
Okay.
intense, and I did not like it.
Yeah.
I had a hard time in school because of that.
Okay.
Um,
Learning wise or
learning
bullying?
wise, no.
No?
You know, I'm so blessed. I have never been bullied.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't
Awesome.
know if it was because like I was just a big kid.
You were like
Yeah,
taller?
tall. I was
Okay.
tall, and probably like got my ass beat a lot at home. So I think people knew like
Okay. Like you just
maybe
probably,
don't do that. Like don't bully
Yeah.
me because like
Like
yeah,
I'm a tough
like,
cookie. Like my stare.
uh.
Have you ever gotten in a fight?
Yes, of
Oh my gosh,
course.
you need to hear it all. Okay. So
I loved horses, so my mom would always drop me off at like the horse corral, and I would clean the stalls to like ride horses and stuff. So
yeah. Where? Here?
here, yeah.
Where? But there was more of that back then, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah.
that. It was like on Sunset over by Wayne Newton's house. And there was
Okay.
nothing over here.
That's down the
after
street.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
so
anything
cool.
past Sunset was like all desert except for the park.
That's scary, but okay.
Scary, right?
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
scary.
so we all used to ride our horses over there.
Okay.
So, you know, I liked being alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents got a divorce.
How old were you?
I was 12.
Okay.
That was rough.
I
That
feel
was-
for your child.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
that-
you as a child.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so good to nurture that child in you,
Yeah.
you know?
Like validate that child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they
So-
probably weren't validated.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't. I
Mhm.
mean, I was alone a lot.
Okay. Which is probably why you think you're independent, or maybe you
Well,
were
yeah, I
more.
had to be.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, my mom was, you know, and then when my parents got a divorce, my mom was working 2 jobs. My dad, I don't know, he just moved away, and my sister went her way. My other sister went her way. And, you know, I was still little trying to figure things out. I think 12 years old is little. So I thought, I'm just going to shave my head.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah.
High school, freshman, or what?
Yeah, it was like coming out of, okay, so how it worked back then, you went to elementary school, then you went to like a 6th grade center, then you went to like 7th and 8th grade. And
Okay.
like that summer to 9th grade is kind of when I started listening to punk rock.
With your parents getting a divorce, and then you said your dad left. Would you say like he left for good?
Yeah.
Or, like you
I
never.
never saw him again. You know, I did have a sister that had some mental illness.
Okay.
And she would do things like, hey, I'm going to run to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And then she would never come back.
Like just for days, weeks.
Like sometimes a year.
wow.
It was really, so I had a lot of that, what do they call that?
Abandonment.
Abandonment issues. Yeah. Like, cause I always thought like, oh my God, what if she's dead? Or
Yeah.
that really messed with me too.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of shaped probably why I felt like such a misfit. You know what I mean? I had a lot of emotional anguish.
Yeah.
I think it's the word I'm looking for, that went on with my dad leaving. You know, my sister would come and go.
Mm-hmm.
My other sister she got married really young. I got pregnant with my niece, Vanessa, that works at the salon.
So she's your sister's daughter.
Yes.
Are you close to her now?
I would like to be close to her, but it's hard for me sometimes. She can trigger me. I find that I can throw all my tools out the window. And you can leave that in the podcast.
Yeah. That is so funny. It was so put together, but I got it because when you're in therapy,
yeah,
or, you gain tools to
yes.
deal with those triggers.
Yeah.
And you just basically said that all the tools just go out the window. Isn't it funny how some people can just not be good for you?
Yeah.
There are people that will just not will bring the worst sides of you out.
Even sometimes, you pray, speak through me, help me get through this or whatever. And I don't know what happens. It just, I roll up the window. I don't want these tools back. I'm going to cuss you out.
Kind of getting an idea of your sisters, where you are now with them. What about the sister that passed away? Where did you guys leave off on an okay note? Or
so she left one time. I got custody of her child.
Okay.
My sister took custody of her other child. They're biologically brother and sister. I took Sydney when he was 1.5 years. Mm-hmm. And the last time I saw her, she had asked me, could she take him to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee or something? And I said no.
Yeah. Because
they'll take him away from me. Mm-hmm. This is you can see him when I'm around, but you can't see him alone for until things change. And
by court, by law.
By law.
Okay.
And I did not want to do anything to get him taken away from me.
Yeah.
He had his little 1.5 life was already tough enough.
Okay.
So, and I was 9 months pregnant when I got him.
Yeah.
So
this is a movie.
It really is a movie. I'm telling you, it is like a country song. Sometimes when I talk about it, I'm like, wow, I guess I have really had to just stay in the moment to get through some of these things.
Yeah.
Because they're intense.
I'm just sitting here, you're 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
You took in your sister's son.
Yeah.
And then your other sister took the other child, the daughter.
Yeah, and I married my daughter's dad 2 weeks after I met him. I woke up the next day and was like, whoa, half my shit's yours. I was I was not cool with that.
Okay.
It took me a minute. We were just getting to know each other. And then I got pregnant. Mm-hmm. And, I was in a situation, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I even want this.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted my daughter, obviously.
Yeah.
I wanted my daughter and I wanted Sydney. I just didn't know if I wanted it to look like that.
With him?
Yes.
Okay.
It was scary. I was scared.
How did you meet your ex-husband?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably at a bar or a friend of a friend. I think everyone's a killer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think everyone is like Charles
Until
Manson.
Proven otherwise.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm very leery of people. So I really would only date people who knew a person.
You guys met through, I'm guessing,
a friend.
We
were married for 2 weeks, and then I don't know. We were really fucked up one night, and he's like, "Let's go get married." I was like, "Okay." I remember the guy saying, "If you don't straighten up, I'm not gonna marry you too." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even, I was loaded.
When did you start using drugs? Or what was your first experience with a drug? Maybe, I don't know if you've smoked cigarettes, alcohol.
So I feel like My dad was an alcoholic and no one talked about it. I remember sneaking my mom's cigarettes, my parents' cigarettes, because they smoked, and getting so sick. I was like, I'm not ever going to smoke. I think like in the 6th grade, I smoked pot and I was like, oh, that really sucks. I think I'm allergic to marijuana or something, because I take one hit and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel anything in my body. And
Yeah.
I start getting crazy. Then I got my hands on like crystal meth and cocaine. And, you know, that was where I really picked it up. I would say again in the 9th grade seemed to be like where
in 9th grade,
a lot of that happened.
was it because of the people you were around with a combination of like?
No, I would do it by myself. I mean, I feel like I'm an addict, and I feel like it just so happened I got my hands on drugs at a young age, and I had no problem doing drugs by myself. I was not influenced by anybody. If anything, it was maybe the exact opposite.
You were influencing people.
Yeah, maybe. I hate to say that, kind of hurts my heart.
You were hurting inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You were hurting inside. You had an addiction, and
it got me.
Yeah, it got the best of you.
It woke up a monster in me that I did not recognize.
What would it bring that you needed more of it? What would it numb you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have this way about me.
Yeah.
That is either I am really bad or I am almost perfect. The summer to the 10th grade, I was like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. And then I got accepted to Votech and went to beauty school and stayed clean for years.
Did your mom know that you were doing that, like in high school?
Crystal meth?
Yeah.
No.
She had no idea. Like she didn't
no idea.
She wasn't concerned that your body.
I would put so many clothes on.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I was really hide it.
And
yeah, because I had an eating disorder too. So the crystal meth always helped with that, like controlling my eating and stuff like that.
Eating disorder, as in like not eating enough, or I'm not like, educated on an eating disorder.
That's okay. Yeah. So anorexia, I feel like it's that lack of control you have, and sometimes that's all you can control is your food, and so that's what you do.
Is anorexia throwing up?
No.
No. Is it not eating?
Just not eating. Yeah.
Just not eating.
Yeah.
Okay. And then an eating disorder is just what, like shaming your body, or to what extent?
And I mean, I looked in the mirror and I knew I was so skinny that I hid it.
Yeah.
And yet I wouldn't stop. I couldn't stop.
Oh my goodness, that's insane. I just can't believe like you were that young doing it.
Yeah.
Your parents or your mom had no idea.
Well, my mom was working 2 jobs, just trying to make ends meet. And, sometimes I feel like now being a mom, and sometimes we want to be in denial.
Because it's just easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To just pretend not to notice.
Your mental health was obviously not the best.
Yeah. I mean, I would be up for days. So I would go to school and not remember anything.
Were your grades
down?
They
were terrible.
Did you have friends or anyone that tried to like tell you that maybe you shouldn't be doing that or wanted to get you out of it?
No.
No.
If the people that you're around don't like it, you'll go find people that do.
That's very true. When someone has an addiction, what's like some piece of advice, if you have any, that you would say for someone who's dealing with a family member, maybe a brother, a sister, a really good friend, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever? Like, how would you even handle someone who's going through that? Do you just support them? Do you even acknowledge it? Is it better to just leave it where it is? I've dealt with that. And like, it's so hard because like you can't keep giving them.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't give them anything.
But then if you don't, you're making that choice of like.
They could go out and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's their choice. I see it so much when I see like my clients or my friends whose kids are doing drugs. They want to give them a place to sleep or give them money. Don't give them money.
Yeah.
Like, you're helping them kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give them money. Like, you can be there. And, maybe we'll talk more about that when we talk about my son.
Yeah.
You can be there and be a sounding board for them, but to run to their rescue, at some point you have to set a boundary. And, one or two things will happen. They'll either get better, they just won't come around you because you've set that boundary.
Yeah.
That hitting rock bottom, what does that look like?
So
it's
you have to
so different for everybody. Yeah. And if you keep helping somebody that's in active addiction, you're robbing them of hitting their rock bottom. And then there's always that chance that they could go out and, So I went through beauty school and high school, and I stayed clean.
Okay.
Even though I still struggled with my eating disorder, I hit the ground running when I got out of beauty school. I just started working, and I was in a great relationship for many years and did not use. Maybe I drank once in a while. I would say he was my first real boyfriend. I dated him for years, 5.5 years. Yeah.
5.5 years.
Yeah.
Rachel, you didn't tell me that, but it was never a toxic.
No.
Okay.
No.
So
never.
why did it end?
He told me that if I got a tattoo to not let the door hit me in the ass. And so I went and got this tattoo, and I showed up with a Ryder truck the next day and I left.
Let me see. Let me see this tattoo. What
I used to go all the way around.
Oh my God,
Me
the
and my
water
best
from
friend.
hairdressing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it hurt so bad.
Okay, that's funny. Wait, what is it though?
It's just little flowers. I know, you can't even tell anymore what it is.
Was he controlling then? Since he said not to do that?
No, he really wasn't.
So
he just did not want me to look, he said, like a biker bitch.
How fast did this happen? Because that was 5.5 years.
Fast.
Do you think
that's the way I roll, right? Remember, I dropped drugs, dropped meth, changed my life, and then 5 years later, I was like, it's about to change again.
And do you think that is also that kind of leaving, or the way you handle those situations, like drop and go? Do you
That's
think
what I used to do.
Do you think it's because of your dad leaving, in a sense, or not? It doesn't correlate.
Oh, I'm sure all of it correlates. I'm able to just a light switch. I needed help. I knew I needed help.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to get it. And so what I would do was just sabotage things. I actually owe him an amends.
Yeah.
I hope one day I can
get a chance.
Make peace with that, Mm-hmm. As soon as I left that first relationship, I started doing drugs. And he was actually the first person that ever said, I think you're an alcoholic, even though I only drank probably 5 or 6 times around this person in 5.5 years.
Was it experiences during when you drank that maybe made him think that?
I think he just saw something, because I kind of considered myself sober. I mean, I wasn't in a program or anything, but I was always the sober one. Everybody for years and years. It's in drugs. If you're an addict and you aren't moving forward, addiction is cunning and baffling, and it is so patient, and it will wait for the perfect time for you to be alone or be scared or be so angry that you'll use.
Where is your mom in this time frame of your life? Because you became an adult eventually.
Yeah. So she was around. Me and my mother are very close. We always did stuff together. We were always going shopping and hanging out and going to dinners.
Okay, your daughter, how was she born? How did that happen? You met
My ex-husband.
Yes.
Listen, he's a great guy. He's probably going to hear this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he knows that even though we loved each other, the drugs were a component that kept us together. So thank God he got sober first, and then I followed suit. But, you know, we were divorcing at that time. I continued to use heavily.
After.
Yeah, I mean.
What were you using?
Cocaine, pills.
Okay. So.
Hard alcohol. I stayed clean, though, while I had my daughter.
Okay.
When I got pregnant with my daughter, I stopped everything because, you know, that's what I do. And I wanted that to last so bad.
Yeah.
Because I remember I have my sister that has left and not come back.
Yeah.
I don't know where she's at. I have her son.
Mm-hmm.
I just married this man.
Were you still doing hair?
Yeah.
Yeah? You were doing hair through all this?
Throughout all of it.
Just hair?
Just hair.
And did your clients know when you were using? Would you use at work?
I never did use like cocaine at work.
Okay.
But you know, when you're up all night doing cocaine and you're drinking alcohol to come down a little bit so you can make it through the day, no one ever said anything to me like, hey. No.
Did any? Because
No.
I feel like if one of our girls at the salon, the minute someone's like didn't get enough sleep or
tootsie, we're like, what's going on?
Had a
with
crazy
you?
night the night before, we're like, okay,
are
hello,
you okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I tell my daughter, you just get in therapy right now because I fucked you up.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
What? So is she in therapy?
She goes to therapy on and off. Yeah.
You had your daughter, and then you are obviously married. You had Sydney, and you had both of them. So but then you did continue using at one point again.
Yeah. I feel like I did not stop till they were like 8 years old, 8 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was that like an everyday thing?
Yeah.
Weekly thing?
Yeah. I was doing pills. Yeah.
How does that not kill you?
I don't know. I mean, I was addicted to fentanyl. Everyone's talking about fentanyl. I was addicted to fentanyl 15 years ago.
Wow.
I wore fentanyl patches. I used to cut them open and rub it on my belly. And yeah, what? I don't even know how I'm still alive, honestly.
That maybe to tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe to
God is good,
inspire
girl.
others. Yeah. Like you literally are a little angel at our salon helping everyone.
Oh.
Like there's the people
you.
who do know you, it's like we all love Rachel.
Yeah.
We all
that's
love
so
Rachel
sweet.
is the best. Rachel does this. Oh, Rachel, like you're like our guardian angel. It sucks to say like you went through that and like for this, but I mean,
well, I went through it for a reason. It has to have a purpose. Or what's the point, right?
Yeah. Did you hide that from your kids? Did it affect them in a way?
I think that when you're young and you have parents that are addicts, that becomes your normal. If any blessing came out of this, we had a beautiful home. We had a nanny, a housekeeper. Thank God, that I thank God every day that I did not harm my kids or harm somebody else's kids.
Yeah.
Because there were things that happened.
Yeah.
During my using that I could have really hurt my kids.
You feel like it didn't?
It didn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean physically, hurt them, like falling asleep at the wheel because I was so hungover the next day, or thank God that I slept in late and all the kids were already in class, or
emotionally, then how do you think you maybe affected them?
I wasn't present for them.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to nurture them the way they needed to be nurtured, I felt. Even though I hugged them and I was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But if something was hurting them, I would be like, oh, it'll be okay. I think that if you're sober, I think that you're attentive. Your receptors are clear. Like, this child needs something. Yeah. But when you're high, you're like, oh, everything's going to be okay. It's okay. Let's go to Target. So my kids had a lot of that. And I know that had to mess with them because from the outside, we lived in a beautiful house in Anthem. They went to a great school.
Yeah.
They had all the toys, the bells, the whistles. They had great vacations. We were both successful.
I feel like there was a lot of that. Like, cause I went to
Yeah.
Coronado, and
Yeah.
you think like these kids whose parents are like rich and can provide them things
that they got it made, right?
Yeah, and I hate that too. Like, I mean, as much as it was hard to be friends with people sometimes that like couldn't see my point of view, like, oh well, my parents don't have money, like I can't just do that. Maybe the compassion from them, I probably didn't have much compassion. Well, I was aware, I don't know why I was aware. You just kind of see or hear sometimes your friends talk about how like, oh, like, yeah, like I'm not really close to my parents, or you see those kids drinking and doing drugs too.
Yeah, and they're at home.
Yeah. And like their parents they're there, but they're not really there. And you think they have it good because they're over here going to the Bahamas. Why did I say it like that?
You're right, because they look like they have it all. And yet there's so much chaos at home that these kids are doing anything to not feel what's going on at home.
How do you stay put together, like, doing that? I feel like I can't even stay put together.
Girl, I mean, when I got sober or clean, whatever, I had to let go of my whole clientele. Like, I was making like $1,000 a day. And mind you, I'm going through a divorce right now, and I was on the verge of being homeless. Like, we had a rental property, and then we had our house in Anthem. My husband had moved to California, ex-husband. And this was before the real crash, when everybody was foreclosing on their houses or not having to pay rent. This was right before that.
Yeah.
So they treated me like a criminal. Like, when you foreclose on a house, like, that was a serious thing before that whole crash, and it became like the normal thing to walk away from your house.
Okay.
So I mean, I had like 90 days to get out. And our rental property, my mom lived in. I made my mom homeless. Me and my mom got a condo, and her and my kids lived there. And then I went and stayed with a friend in his spare bedroom. But my life started to unravel.
Because of all the pressure?
It was just like, well, I couldn't get high anymore. Like, no matter how much I did, I won't even tell you how much I did. I could not get enough drugs in my body to like take me to that warm, fuzzy place anymore. So it was, unraveling. I was losing everything. But thank God I did, because I don't think that I could have gotten clean with, a $4,500 house payment, 3,800, 4,000 square foot house, and a pool, and 2 kids, and how much would I have to work to pay for that?
Were you a workaholic?
Yeah, I'm a addict all around in my life. It comes out in all different ways. You know what I mean?
That is so crazy, because I feel like I'm a work addict. I might not be like drugs or alcohol, but when you said that, it like made me realize like, oh my God, I don't have boundaries when it comes to like time and like like relaxing.
Yeah, and I think what happens is, as hairdressers, we're always making people feel pretty.
Yeah.
They like us. Everyone thinks we have the best life. We go to work to have fun, right?
We have a bunch of friends.
Yeah. And, we
make
go
good
have
money.
drinks. We make great money.
Yeah.
I just think that there are no boundaries. It just got to the point where I didn't even know what to do with myself if I had time off. So much changes for you when you get clean. Remember, I haven't gone to the banks without drugs. I haven't gone to Target without drugs. I haven't driven my car without drugs.
No way.
I haven't parented without drugs. So I hadn't gone to work without drugs. I was taking so many pills just to get through the day. Even Michelle, when I moved to Mosaic, that was like the beginning of the end for me. I remember Michelle calling me and saying, hey, like, You cannot be doing drugs at the salon. So thank God Michelle had the courage to call me and say that to me, because that had to be hard.
Michelle used to be the salon owner.
Yes.
She still owns the
Mosaic.
Yeah, Summerlin.
Yeah, in Boca. That was really special. Listen, when an addict comes to you and says, I promise I'm not going to use again. I'm going to stay clean. I promise. They really do mean it. They just don't know how to do it. And I just didn't know how to do it. And so I would last like a day of this monster coming out of my stomach, and I just couldn't handle it. Sophia, I got to tell you, even though in my darkest moments of using, I always had faith.
Yeah.
I always prayed. I mean, there were nights and days that I was stuck in a Hard Rock hotel room, too scared to walk down the hall to get to the elevator to make my way home, because I'd been awake for so long, and just hitting the floor and praying. And I'm sure some people are going to be like, that's gross.
Yeah.
But
well,
I don't
fuck off.
care. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I thank God for those. Our Holy Bible's still in the nightstands at hotels, because those Bibles saved my life a few times.
I feel like it's funny you say that. I feel like people, I mean, at least drug addicts that I've known, or, my family members, like, they've always believed in God and had faith. So it's funny how I'm not saying everyone does, but
right,
there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are clean that don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But, that's their thing. I just know for myself, like, God's revealed himself to me.
Yeah.
During these events that I went through to get clean.
Yeah.
He stayed very close to me. I have an experience with God. I feel blessed for that, because I know a lot of people that believe in God that have never had an experience.
Yeah.
Like, they've never maybe been through something so dark that God hasn't had to come and get right in their face.
Yeah. Would you want to share?
Yeah. After taking 5 hours to do a cut and color, I left the salon, and I did have thoughts. I mean, obviously I was not a shiny, happy person, or I wouldn't be filling myself with opiates on a regular. Yeah. I was slowly killing myself. And, at that point, Sophia, I felt like it was like a bad joke. Yeah. Like, why do I keep waking up? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? So I prayed. I pulled up to my house, my friend's house that I was staying with. When I say come to Jesus moment, I was like, dude, like, either you come down here and have your way with me, and I'll accept any way that you leave me. But if you don't, I'm going to take matters in my own hands, because I just couldn't take it anymore. My life was unraveling. I was basically homeless. My kids are in a condo with my mom. I made my mom homeless. My ex-best friend is dating my at the time husband. Something happened in that truck. I can't explain it. I don't even know how to put it in words. That I felt something.
I know what you're talking about. Maybe not to an extreme. Yeah. But it's like you hit that rock bottom. Yeah. In something, it's like, I don't know. I haven't been able to explain it either, but I feel like he's with me.
But God knows. I think that when you're at your rock bottom and you have conviction, like, okay, this is it. Like, there's just a fork in the road. Yeah. Either you're going to help me go this way, or I'm going this way, and it's not going to end well. Yeah. Right?
100%.
I have goosebumps. My whole truck just filled up with something so beautiful, and I never have felt so safe in my life. Yeah.
That makes me so happy. Yeah. I'm like so happy you had that. Yeah. Experience. Is that like, was that necessarily your turning point? Or
yes. Yeah? I mean, when I tell you I left my truck. Yeah. And, you know, I went to jail after that. I was too embarrassed to go to rehab. I couldn't afford rehab. Anyways,
Who's helping you through all this?
I went to my mother's house with my kids and was like, Mom, I'm going to stop doing drugs. But what came next was really, really tough for my family to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I tore the house apart. I was somewhere else.
Did your kids, like your whole family, everyone saw like that you were going through that?
My sister came over to stay with me, like when my mom went to work, because, girl, I was like speaking in tongue.
Yeah.
Like I was hallucinating. I don't recommend anybody get clean like that because you can die and you can kill people. You know, I could have been hallucinating and done something really bad to my family, thinking that they were like bad people. But thank God I didn't.
I'm smiling because I've literally gone through that.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that. And it's like so hurtful. It's like that's what happens when someone gets clean. That's what has to happen, and your body is cleansing itself out.
Yeah.
And you say horrible things. You do like you're
just crazy.
Yeah.
You're not even there. You're like I was somewhere else.
Yeah. Sometimes.
If you don't have faith, I don't know. Would God have came?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that God wants everyone to have a good life.
Yeah.
You have to do the work.
Yeah,
you have to choose, right? Because we have free will.
That's insane. That's crazy. You're like, you've been through so much, and your family has been through so much.
I feel like those of us who have had a journey like this, we're the ones that move forward and to help people, and we're the warriors.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody's going to knock me down. I might get my feelings hurt, you know, because I'm sensitive, but no one's going to knock me down.
Yeah.
Like nobody can do anything that I haven't already been through.
Yeah. Or you can't come back from
100%.
Yeah.
Because
you know how to keep.
Oh, yeah.
like like what you said, it's like you might feel low, have your moment, but then it's you're not going to stay there.
No way.
There's
when
no
I
way
wake up in the morning and my feet hit the ground, I have a choice.
You fly.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm not going to.
After you got clean with your household and everything,
someone bigger than me carried me through this, and I need to hold up my end of the deal. How dare I not follow through
with your end?
Yeah. And so there again, I had to ask for help, you know, and that's hard for people like us, right? You didn't even want me to help you with your phone cord, right?
Yeah. You're like, can I plug this in for you? Can I do it? I'm like, no, stay right there.
After like 15 days, I went back to work. I didn't know how to even get ready for work. I had to call my ex-husband. Today is my first day back at work and I don't know what to do. You know, I feel so blessed that, you know, he walked me through that. I mean, it was down to, well, have you brushed your teeth yet? No. He said, okay, go brush your teeth and call me back.
Thank God for him.
Yeah.
Like, I understand now why, even though there's those things that happen in between, it's like, then there's those
so much goodness, right? How could I let all of that, like, rob myself and him and my kids of not having that connection?
I mean, I think it's like the ability to forgive too, and have an open heart and mind. I do
have the ability to give. I think that that is definitely one of my gifts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I don't like it when I don't forgive somebody. It feels terrible.
Yeah, it takes time, but forgiveness is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my parents don't talk to each other. Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people. Yeah. I personally, like, I respect my parents. I just personally think it's in that kind of thing. I mean, everyone has their reasons. They get to pick their life, but I do feel like forgiveness is huge when it comes to that stuff.
Well, it was probably my first week back to work. Yeah. I was walking to my truck and some guy had t-shirts in the parking lot. And he was like, hey, you want a t-shirt? I go, I said, sure.
Yeah.
It started with, what's your name? What do you do? How do this, da that. This guy is like, oh, you want to go out? He asked me out. I'm thinking, I said, are you out of your fucking mind? I go, I have like 15 days clean. Like I'm coming off of fentanyl and opiates and cocaine and no.
Did you say that exact sentence?
Yeah, I literally just said everything I just said to you.
I love that. And he was like, okay, what did he say?
He was like, well, can I have your number? Like a week later, he called me and said, do you want to go, he was a DJ and he was like, do you want to go? I don't know. Maybe he had a friend that was DJing. I don't know. He was doing something in the industry. Like, dude, did you forget? Like, I don't even know how to act in public. Like, I don't even know, like, no. He said, well, how about if I take you to an NA meeting? Aww. Yeah. And he's like, I used to go to NA with my parents. And, that's probably why when I told him all those crazy things, Sophia, that he wasn't like, okay, psychopath, crackhead, here's your t-shirt and run, because he had experience with that.
And so you went?
I went.
You did? Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I had to take like 3 Xanax to walk in that room. I had so much anxiety, social anxiety. I was losing everything. Like people were coming for me. Like the banks were coming for me. The credit cards were coming for me. The lending, our lenders were coming for me.
Did the NAA meetings help?
I never looked back. And when I went to that first NA meeting, it was like the first moment of peace I've had in, I don't know, I'm going to say years. That I was like, oh my God, like I have been looking for you people my whole life. That's how I felt.
And that was the first one you went to?
That was the first meeting I went to.
Do you remember around how old you were? Or how old your kids were at the time?
Yeah, she was 8 and he was 10.
Okay. Oh, and after that you were sober?
I was sober. Okay. Yeah, I got clean.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like, they're still young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I mean,
listen, I always, I think what has, helped my daughter is that I have always given her permission to tell me how she feels. And if she ever wanted me to go to therapy with her, I'm there. Like, I'm not playing house here.
Yeah.
Like, this is my daughter's life. Like, you saw a lot.
Yeah.
And this had to have fucked you up.
That's beautiful, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that you had, she had that from you.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, I don't know, there's just so many people out there that probably wouldn't do that or would be like, no, I'm not doing therapy for you, knowing they might have.
Well, you have to be humble.
Yeah. You are humble.
You're
a very humble person.
Okay, so that guy that took me to NA, I hit the ground running with NA. People that did not judge me.
Yeah.
Like, I would tell them, like, a story that made me feel so bad. Like,
yeah.
Like, taking my daughter to school that day and falling asleep and almost hitting a brick wall. Like, she would say that to me. She'd be like, oh, Mommy, remember when we were driving by here and you fell asleep and you almost hit that brick wall?
Yeah.
And it would devastate me. And I just thought I was like the worst person in the world. And then my friends in NA would be like, oh, well, you want to hear what I did? Wow. Let me tell you what's really bad. Let me tell you my story.
Yeah.
And, I just thank God for them every day for surrounding me.
You have to be around the people who have been through your shoes to really feel accepted and safe and not secure, but
I hadn't felt safe in my life. I don't want anybody to feel like it was their fault. For the journey that I chose to go, the path I chose to take. It wasn't, my sisters, it wasn't my mother, it wasn't my parents getting a divorce, it wasn't, that kid that threw a rock at me. I was an addict and I got my hands on drugs. We have free will.
We do. We have a choice.
I will tell you, if you ask, even if you don't believe in God, if you're going through something that you feel like you can't get out of, and you just ask.
Yeah.
Watch your life shift.
I think it does, where people might get confused though, is sometimes it doesn't happen right away.
Overnight. You mean like that burning bush?
It happens over time.
Yeah. Oh, your house payment's going to get paid tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work that way.
Well, that's what people want. They want it in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Right.
Sometimes it takes months.
Don't you feel like when we ask for stuff, if you get the best thing at the wrong time, it could be disastrous. I feel like, when you ask for something, and you don't get it immediately, it's because you have to go through other things. So when that thing happens, it's the right thing for you at that time.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. You've been clean for how many years? Do you know?
15.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that Rachel was an addict. But this is crazy because I've worked with you for
a long time.
4.5 years. And a lot of people don't know your story. You want to open up about your son and like the journey to that?
Sure. Yeah. I think it starts with my sister.
Yeah.
Because, mental illness is, back then it was just get a hold of yourself. So the last time I saw her, I had her son, and I did not see her again for 15 years. Somehow she found me through like a family member. Somebody was talking to her, and, we hadn't seen her around town so, we really thought she was dead. It was really sad.
Yeah.
And
15 years is a long time.
Yeah. She called me, and, other family members chose not to talk to her, but I did. I wanted to make amends. I wanted her to know that I loved her. She's not alone. I forgive her. And, that was really important to me because that's like everything I'm about, right? At this point. And now I'm older and I see like she really had some problems, and I don't know what happened to her when I was separated from her, or I don't know what happened to her when she was little. She was so much older than me.
Yeah.
So who knows? And, so we started to build our relationship, and I don't know at that time if Sydney was living with his dad in California, but anyways, me and my sister started to build a connection and build a relationship.
Yeah.
And back before she had moved to California, there was a home invasion. And these people raped her and did all kinds of things to her, robbed her, and lit her on fire and left her for dead. So
I like have no words.
I know I don't have no words either.
How did your son feel when he found? Did he know?
No.
Okay.
I did not share that with my kids for a really long time. And I don't know that I ever shared that with Sydney. Him and his mom connected after that because, he lived with his dad. He went to school in California. I thought I was going to yell at him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He really was a trigger for me. We just thought it would be better if like he went and lived with his dad in California. Yeah, so that was tragic. That gave me PTSD. And remember, I'm clean.
Yeah.
So I have nothing to like
fall back on.
Yeah, she had 7 surgeries to try and closed the burn, you know, she laid there for 3 days and all the fibers from the carpeting went into her back. So it was like one surgery a year. And, you know, when she left the hospital, she went homeless with her burns. And to think that somebody who had a whole family, her siblings, her mother, friends that she grew up with, she could have reached out to somebody and she didn't.
Why do you think she didn't though? Like just
I don't know. When we reconnected, it was like 15 years, 16 years. And this had happened 7 years earlier.
that is horrifying.
Yeah.
Like how I couldn't even imagine. Like that you forget people go through things like that.
Yeah.
Like being burned alive.
Well, they knocked her out. They knocked her out, thank God. She doesn't really remember. She remembers like a tall guy with dark hair, and that's the last thing she remembered. And then she woke up. And somehow, you know, I feel like when you have mental illness, we're trying to think of like what we would do because we don't have mental illness. Of course, the first thing I would do is call my mom, right? The first thing you would do is probably call your mom. Or a best friend or your sibling or something. But, you know, she didn't. No, but the pain just was too great.
Yeah.
You know, she was scared of everything. She was scared of everybody. Couldn't fix her back. And, you know, ultimately she ended her life.
I'm sorry. That is just like, ugh.
Yeah, but I feel so blessed that I got to make we got to build a relationship for 2 years. And this was really crazy. Like the day that she died, we were going to the movies and I had called her like 4 times and I cried all day long. I couldn't figure out why I was crying. I was like, you know, my daughter was visiting her dad. I thought maybe that's why I'm crying. Maybe I miss my daughter. I could not figure it out. I was so sad that day. And me and my husband and a couple of our friends were going to go to a movie. And I told him, hold up a second. I just want to call my sister one more time. I haven't heard back from her. And it was 4:30 and I called and I left her a message. And when the coroner's office called me, that's when they called her death. It was at 4:30.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you left like literally at 4:30. You left that.
Like I left that message at 4:30.
How does that make you feel? Like
sometimes awful because I'm like, why did, you know, you always want to say, why didn't I try harder?
Yeah.
Why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I do that? So, I did that with my son too.
Have you forgiven yourself for your sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I focus more on having that, having those moments with her where, comforting her and telling her like, let's not talk about the past.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to serve us. Let's just move forward and get to know each other. And, yeah.
Oh, that makes me happy.
So I find joyful moments in that.
Just hearing that, it's like, how do you
come back from
that? How do you come back from that? I think, I don't know. I don't think we have all the answers. We're never going to have the answers, but sometimes people are better off in another life with God than here on earth.
This was a rough place for my sister and Sydney. Sometimes even though we don't see the beauty in it, I don't want to say beauty because it's so sad. My sister took her own life and I would give anything to have her back.
Yeah.
But this isn't about me.
Yeah.
It's about her and her journey. And who am I to say that she should have stayed?
No, I do
hear people
agree.
say, oh, it's so selfish, it's so this, it's so that. Well, do you think that person had
wanted to do
the ability to do that? Because if they did, they probably would have stayed.
Yeah.
Unless you've walked in their shoes, you don't know.
I think it's selfish to say it's selfish.
I agree.
I'm
I
like,
agree
what do you mean?
100%. But I mean, we're
hurtful.
not condoning suicide.
No.
Just for
Oh
that.
my gosh.
We're not
no.
condoning that. But we're forgiving it. You
'Cause
know,
it's-
we're finding love and empathy for people who choose that path for whatever reason that is.
Mhm.
It is not for us to judge.
You can speak more about that, because I definitely would say it's something to be more educated on. I feel like people need to educate themselves on something as big as suicide,
Yeah.
because I'm not educated on it, but like obviously this episode and this whole conversation we're having will make me more educated on it, like do my own research.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. Because, it's like you always see like the comedian that commits suicide and they were like the funniest people, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what somebody's going through. You just know what they're showing you.
Yeah. That's a lot of death. Like that's
a
just
lot of death
to experience so close to you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, as someone who's an addict and going through those really difficult losses and difficult times in your life, your first thing you'd probably want to do is go back. I'm not saying you have, but like, wouldn't those be the things that trigger someone?
That's what brings people back. Yeah.
So
yeah.
What was your grounding in those events of losing your sister in that way, and then not only your sister but your son in the same way? Like
NA.
Okay.
Like
going back every time? Or
yeah, I went to meetings like all the time. I was angry after my sister passed because I feel like I just got her back again and she fucking left me. You know what I mean? But then once you come to your senses and you're like, okay, Rachel, it's not about you.
Yeah.
Because, I'm self-centered. I think everything is about me.
I think that's grief though.
Anger.
Yeah. Yeah. Is a part of that process.
So once I got past that, I could see the light. I could, she's not suffering anymore. I was so grateful she reached out to me.
Okay.
And I had a sponsor, and I have a sponsor. And, that is a safe place for me to go talk about things like that, because you don't walk around telling people that your sister, was raped and sodomized and lit on fire.
Yeah.
Like, you don't go around telling people that, but you have to tell somebody.
Yeah.
You have to let the steam out of the pot. Or I'm going to use. There was a big span in between my sister's death and my son's. Me and my son were not talking when he passed.
Yeah. So
that was really, really hard, because he just, I was his mom. I was always yelling at him. He was... he lived in his van, and he got his bachelor's degree in his van. And, I was like, well, why can't you get an apartment and, work at Whole Foods? Like, I wanted him to work at Whole Foods and like live in an apartment, and he wanted to live in his van and work at a juice stand. Yeah. Like, that's how our relationship was always. He did. He got accepted to state college and got a really cute apartment. And I did not know this until after he passed. Yeah. Of course. But he lived in California, in LA. Yeah. And he was at a party, and him and his two friends did not want to drive. So the two girls slept in the front and he slept in the back. They just slept in the car. And in Huntington Beach, those small streets? Yes. Yeah, a lady went down the street and she was drunk and she hit them. Well, he didn't pass then, but he was in the hospital. He woke up in the hospital. He had brain surgery, and
brain surgery is huge.
Yeah. This was all during COVID too. So, he had the nurse call me. So I called him back, and I was like, so, like, what did you do now? That's kind of the attitude I had. Yeah. And he was like, he just wanted to make amends with me, and wanted me to know what happened to him. And I was glad he did that. He was a bigger person than me because I was mad. Like we really had it out, you know, months before this had happened.
Yeah.
That I thought, you know, this might be it for us for a while. Like some of the stuff that, you know, he said to me and the way it went down, I was like, man, you know, how much I felt like I was just his whipping post.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was that person. Looking back now, right? I can see that I was the person that he could whip the most.
Yeah.
That would stand there and take it because he wasn't with his mom. Like little kids don't go, oh, thank you for keeping me out of foster care and, you know, keeping me away from my mom and eating out of a dumpster or being locked in a hotel room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So our relationship was tough.
At the time, I'm not talking about now, but like, because obviously there was anger on both sides. Like you both were being stubborn.
Yeah.
With that relationship, which I have had myself. Me and my parents have both gone through things where we don't talk.
Yeah.
Which I think wouldn't happen again because of things like that. I feel like I have to like,
there's just no reason for it.
Yeah, you have to learn from other people. Do you think he wasn't grateful? Like, is that the mentality that you're like, he's not grateful, he doesn't appreciate what I've done?
Because I saw where he would have went had I not taken him in.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when he was little, he'd be like, oh, Mom, I think I just had a memory of my old family. And it used to break my heart. The memory that you had was with me. You're just not seeing me in that memory. Like, I did not want him growing up and me telling him at like 18, like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm your aunt.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to go down like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I told him, you know, you didn't come out of my belly, but I love you. Yeah. And your mom loved you enough to let me have you. It took a few years for him to realize that, like, his sister is his sister and his grandma is grandma.
Leading up to like losing him, you guys weren't talking? Like it just wasn't, because after the whole hospital incident and he was trying to make amends.
Right.
And your attitude towards it, like did you guys talk or make amends at one point?
We did. We did talk while he was in the hospital. Mm-hmm. But that was the last time I talked to him. He left me a message and told me that he had just gotten out of the hospital and he made it home, but he didn't feel good. I just felt so guilty that I didn't run to him. My friends, my family were like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go get him? Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to go through this, you know, merry-go-round again.
Yeah.
And I didn't go get him. And he passed away that night. It was such a mess the way it went down, Sophia.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. And, you know, there was a part of me at first where I was like, I mean, I was so angry at the hospital in California and the coroners. Like, they had his phone. Like, how couldn't you get in there? You know, like, none of his friends talked about me. Nothing. It was hurtful. Yeah. I mean, I found out from one of my nieces that found out on Facebook that he had passed.
Really?
Yeah.
So no one reached out?
No one knew. No one. It was just one of those things like, yeah, he passed away. I couldn't get into his phone. Like, we tried. What do you want me to do about it? Mm-hmm. And no, you can't come here.
How did you get through that? Like, I don't know. That's just so sad. Like, I feel so...
I feel like a lot of you girls at the salon helped me so much because so many people around me gave me so much space to just cry. I would just cry out of nowhere and be like, what if I forget, like, the sound of his voice? Mm-hmm. And I would just cry. And, you know, Colleen and Carrie and Renee, they would just let me cry.
Yeah. Do you think that it's better when someone loses someone to just let you talk to them about it instead of them getting you to talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because listen, there isn't anything you can say that's going to make me feel better.
There's not.
Right? There
Yeah,
isn't.
no.
I mean, we all wish that we had those words of wisdom for somebody that's suffering.
Sometimes it's just about like being there.
Yeah, I mean, they would just sit there and look at me, and I would just be like a mess.
What's one thing that you like loved about him or you remember him for?
Tenacious. So it's just like that thing I was talking about. Like, I wanted him to work at Whole Foods and get an apartment. He didn't.
Yeah.
He wanted to live out of his van.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to live his life the way that he wanted to live it on his terms.
Yeah.
And it was hard. Like, he chose the hard road.
Mm-hmm.
And that used to make me so mad. Look at the way you were raised. Like, why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. And now I think about it, Sophia, and I have so much admiration for him that he did it his way. He lived his life the way he wanted, and he didn't give a fuck.
He was happy doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would play his guitars and, you know, and I would say, why are you buying another guitar when you're homeless? He'd be like, okay, for one, I am not homeless.
He was like, I have a van.
Yes.
He's like, and it is parked on 6th Street.
Yes. I see the beach every day.
Yeah. Oh.
So, gosh,
He's like, I have roommates.
Yeah, right? He had a dog. He loved his dog so much.
What kind of dog?
Leo was like a black pit bull or of some sort.
How old was he?
25.
25?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, are you still healing? Like, you were always healing, but...
I'm definitely still healing. I don't know what it was, Sophia. I've experienced so much loss in these last 3 years that it's almost like surreal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to go, well, what else can happen? Because a lot can happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I feel like a lot of people have experienced loss.
It's always such a hard subject because everyone deals with loss differently.
Yeah.
It affects everyone.
Yeah.
Completely different. So I think it's touchy, but I think the biggest thing is if you haven't had loss, then being aware of like what you can do is just always letting them know you're there for them.
Yeah, that's
I don't even think you have to say you're sorry.
Yeah, you don't even have to.
It's not your fault. It's just more...
I'm here for you.
Yeah, but I'm so proud of you. Like, I know, I just like, what does that mean coming from me? But
it means the world to me. I just am so honored that you are letting me go on this journey with you. And I hope that we listen to this 10 years from now when you're a star.
A star? That reminded me of my friend. Just the way she would say that is exactly the way you just did.
Sophia Styles, you're going to change the world.
Yes, I hope I do. Honestly, Rachel, everything you've been through, it's like you are... I already said it in the beginning, but how... it's just so frustrating because everyone's on their own journey. Everyone gets the choice to live their life how they want. Everyone has free will.
Right.
But it's like people like you are the superheroes because it's like... there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to go through what you've been through and still be here. And you're like still going. You still have your daughter and your family and your clients. And even when you went through those losses, you were at the salon making other people feel good, making other people. And it's like you went through that and you didn't go back to... you know, using the darkness, you didn't go back to that. And a lot of people do. And there's nothing, you know, I'm not shaming those people. It's just like the strength it took you to not, it shouldn't go unnoticed.
Wow, that's so touching that you just said that.
Oh.
That means a lot. You know, I just want people to know that they don't ever have to use drugs ever again, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. You could, if I can stay clean,
then...
Sophia, anybody can stay clean.
Okay, let's do some conclusion questions. If you could think of anything you could be in the world for work, what would it be? And it can't be a hairdresser. Like, you could be anything.
Well, I already own my own skincare line, but I mean,
hairdresser.
that's my love. Like,
Yeah.
if I could just do that every single day and just teach people about non-toxic skincare and how many chemicals that are in toothpaste and deodorant, like those are the biggest hoax that our society has put on us.
Yeah.
Is the toothpaste, deodorant, don't stink, soap. You know, I mean, there's just, it's so bad for us. That is what I'm striving for. That's what I would want to do every day, is like
that skin non-toxic.
Teach people, like,
your products that you have right now.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to let them know your Instagram and your business name so that they can go take a look.
My skincare line is For Real Organics. And it has been 10 years in the making. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And it's, I have a serum that is plant-based for vegans. I have a hyaluronic acid and vitamin C.
Which is delicious.
It's the best.
It's awesome.
And then I have a tallow balm. That is 100% grass-fed and Manuka honey balm.
Ooh,
that
Manuka
is
honey.
Amazing. You've used it
the
on
healing
your burns.
balm.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram? It's the
For Real Organics.
Okay, For Real Organics.
Yeah.
For Real Organics. If you are someone who is, you know, looking for a non-toxic or more organic and plant-based, holistic products for your skin, the orgasm, the biggest, isn't that the biggest orgasm?
It is the biggest organ that we have. But, you know, I'm sure that if you wanted to use the tallow balm to have an orgasm, you could.
Oh, you could use it as lube.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I love that. Okay, what is the best memory that you've ever had? And I know there's probably many, but you can pick whichever one, whether that was with your family or yourself, like just one of a good memory in your life.
Gosh, the best memories that I have. I think going to Greece with my husband is a great memory.
What's your husband's name?
Kenny.
We love Kenny.
Yeah. Everybody does love Kenny.
Yeah.
Sometimes people love him more than I love him, I think.
Oh, that's the oh my god, I don't know why I didn't want to cuss, but that's the fucking husband you want to have. So you guys went to Greece and it was like amazing. It was one of the best
broke
memories.
my foot the day we got there, but it still was,
and it was still one of your favorite memories.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so beautiful. Really beautiful.
Wow.
And I love the way that they live.
You do love your Greek food.
I do, don't I? I swear, I tell my husband I was the one that should be Greek.
Yeah.
And he should have been Italian.
Name 3 of your biggest pet peeves.
Okay. I would say...
Let's get ratchet. I'm just
one
kidding.
of my biggest pet peeves...
I know you have them.
I do have them.
That's why I asked you that question.
When I am laying on my bed and somebody is shaking the bed and the bed shakes while I'm sleeping. Like, I will instantly... I know that sounds so crazy, right? I will instantly... I will get so mad. And so if my husband wants to like joke around with me, I'll be on the bed, I'll be working on the computer or something, and he'll shake the bed and I will get so pissed off. Like, I can't help it. It's just one of my pet peeves.
Second one? Yeah.
This is, I'm really, guys, letting you in on something. Okay.
Oh, she's like, you might be doing it right now.
No, you're not doing it. But is when my assistants are sweeping my hair and they touch me with the broom. I get really fucking pissed.
I know. One time you didn't get pissed at me though. You didn't. I remember I did it like, and I was like, I'm sorry, Rachel. And you were like,
I even get like anxiety if they get too close. Like if I feel the wind, like I'm like,
the wind on my calf.
You better not get close to me with that broom.
Okay, are you good with those 2 or do you want to share
I'm
a
good
third
with
one?
those 2.
Okay,
those
awesome.
are my real winners.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming on the show so much, and sharing your story with us and the world, because anyone can listen to it. It's literally public. So definitely this will not be the last time you're here. We have to have like a fun podcast episode.
Yeah, we'll do a fun one.
Yes, because you have that spice and that like fun, fun Rachel side, not serious Rachel too.
Yeah.
Let's peace out.
No.
Okay. Little duck skin. Or wait, no. Little duck face and peace.